Well, good morning, everybody. This is rather exciting for us, for OGR. This is the first of something that we're trying completely new, talking to a school. The school is up in Norway, and we're very excited about that. And if I can find the the right button to press here, we're about to bring Marguerite up on line with a whole bunch of children sitting behind her, all very excited to be there. Hello, everybody. Say hi. Okay, that's all pretty exciting. So, hello, Marguerite. Thanks for joining us. So, this is a bit of fun for us, and I can see the children excited. Very cool. So, Marguerite, tell us a little bit about, firstly, about you, how long you've been a teacher, or and then about the school, where you are, and what's happening.
Okay. So I've been a teacher for 10 years. I've been here for 6 years in this school. And we are a big school, about 500 kids altogether. 60 of them here today.
Yep.
Yeah. So we've been working on Ocean Globe Race from day one.
Yeah.
Watching the live tracker.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so the children themselves are year 6, is it? They're about 11 to 12. And they've been following the race. They've got their favorite boats or something. Tell us about that, how that's working.
Well, they chose one favorite boat each after reading about them. They've drawn the boats, and every day we check the live tracker. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. And we change the positions, so they're rooting for one boat each.
Yeah.
And the ones rooting for Godspeed are a little bit down at the moment, but
yeah, there's a few people down about Godspeed, but they're hoping to make sail again today if we're lucky. So that's cool. So they're literally just using the tracker. There's the picture of their boats there, and having a lot of fun. And here's a hang on, I'll take this one out. And here's a bit of a picture of the school. So where exactly is the school?
It's very close to Bergen. In Oslo, in Norway. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Fantastic. All right. So we're excited, and I think you've got some children there that would like to ask us some questions. I'll try and answer them as best I can. So I'm ready when you are.
Okay. Yeah. First up is Oliver.
Hello, Oliver. Just tell me, how old are you, Oliver?
I'm 11.
11. Okay. Fire away with your question.
Why does it seem like Godspeed is so off course all the time?
Oh, okay. The question was why is Godspeed off course all the time? Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. One is that they've had some challenges on the boat, and sometimes they've got to position the boat in the weather and the waves to make the most of what's going on. But I have to admit, there was one case just after the start where they literally turned around completely the wrong way. And I think that may have been a navigation error. I'm not sure. We haven't had a full answer on that yet. But the yachts themselves can experience different weather conditions compared to the boat that might only be a few hundred miles away. And so they find their own direction in the wind and the waves that suits them the best. And you'll see some boats will stay directly on course and alter their sails, right? And that may make it uncomfortable, but other boats will say, we don't want to be uncomfortable. We'll put the boat on a very easy track and wait for the weather to change, which brings them back on course. Okay?
Yep.
All right. Thanks for your question. Okay. Is there another one now? Yep.
Hi, my name is Elwin.
Hello, Elwin. How old are you, Elwin?
11 years.
Okay. What's your best subject at school?
Math.
Maths. Okay. Fire away with your question.
How do the entrants entertain themselves when they're alone on a boat for months at a time?
Oh, that's a good question. First of all, if they want to listen to music, they have to use a cassette tape, which you probably never. I don't even know whether you've ever seen a real cassette tape, but that's where the music comes from. It's the way it was back in the 70s. They'll usually, certainly the biggest entertainment is when they're having meals. When they get together to have their meals, they can talk to each other. But music is the big thing, and it's all cassette tapes. They have books on board. They can read books, of different subjects, and they'll be filming and photographing as well. And that's sort of a fun thing for them to do. Usually, depending on the boat, on Godspeed, they probably have a party every night, but usually once a week, they'll have a special occasion or so on, to think about it. But they can't ring home for family and friends. They're completely isolated on the boat. So it is really strange, living in that environment. But, they'll usually have plenty of laughs. And sometimes when it's really hard on the boat, when there's big seas and storms, sometimes that's when they can laugh the most and have some fun. They all joke about the danger. So, yeah. All right. Thanks for your question. Next one.
Hi, my name is Tyriel.
Cyril, is it? Was that Cyril?
No, Tyriel.
Okay, Tyriel. And how old are you?
I'm 11.
Okay, thanks for that. And now let's see what the question is, and hopefully I can answer it.
How do the entrants prepare for the Ocean Globe race?
Okay, well, that's really hard, okay, because if you look at the boat and the whole team, the biggest challenge is to make sure the boat is really in top condition and ready on time at the start line, because they come from different countries, so it's very hard to make sure all the engines are running right, the sails are in good condition, the rigging's good. And then the other biggest challenge is to find the right crew, because most of the boats have about 8 to 10 crew, and they've all got to get on together. They have to have the right level of skill. You want someone that's a good sailmaker, a good engineer, a good electrician, a navigator. Someone's got to be in charge, to keep control. And that takes a lot of work. So by the time they get to the start, they've probably changed some crew and things like that. And then there's a medical training. They have to be trained in first aid. They have survival training to get into life rafts. They will, there's a lot involved. And that's only one part of 3 things that are vital to be successful in the race. You have the planning, which you asked about. Yeah. Then after the planning, there's the preparation. It's practicing, going sailing and checking the systems. And then the final one is the execution. And if you do good planning, good preparation, good execution, you'll probably make the finish line. Okay? So that's pretty challenging. All righty. Thanks for that.
Hi, my name is Hannah.
It's Hannes, is it?
Hannah.
Hannes. Pleased to meet you, Hannes. And how old are you?
I am 11 years old.
11 years old. Tell me, before you ask me your question, what do you think about the school? Is it a really good school? Because it looks pretty cool to us.
Well, it is. It's fun here, but sometimes there can be a little problems with stuff.
That's the same with all schools, I think. Yep, that's a good answer. And your parents will be thinking, wow. Anyway, what's your question?
So my question is, having achieved a gold medal for a lifetime of adventure, is there anything you would like to say to us 6th graders that would want to make us more adventurous?
Oh, that's a question for me. Okay, thank you for that. Okay. So, yeah, adventure is very good for people. And the first thing I should explain is that the definition of adventure is any activity with an unknown outcome. So maybe the first time you've ever ridden a push bike, right, it might have been really hard and you'd fall off the push bike, okay? And you have to get back on again and try a different way. And then when you finally get to ride the bike, you say, hey, Mum and Dad, look, I can ride the bike. So you get very excited about that. And that gives you confidence because you've achieved something, okay? And then you become a communicator because you want to tell all your friends, hey, I ride the bike. I rode the bike all the way down the street. So these are all qualities that help you make good decisions in life because you had to decide and work value judgments when you're falling off the bike and hit your head. So now you wear a helmet, all these things. You get confidence, which lets you do other things in the future. You get, you become a communicator because you're telling all your friends about it and so many things. So any adventure if you paddle a canoe for the first time, or you go out camping, or all these things, you do the planning, preparation, execution. Adventure is fantastic. And guess what? You can't learn any of those things in school or from a book, right? Unless you go camping with the school. So adventure is really good. And then to answer the question, is there something that I would have liked to have done or tried to do and didn't do, or so on? I really wanted to get into space, and I tried once, but I wasn't successful. That was a story for later. So yeah, one day, maybe later on. Now it's easier to get into space. So who knows? But yeah, there's a lot of fun things to be had when you're adventuring. So I hope you get out there and have a try at something new.
Okay. And I also have a second question.
Yep.
Which one of the boats in Ocean Globe Race is your favorite?
Oh, well, I should say Explorer, because I'm particularly connected to that. But anyway, I think my favorite boat has to be Galliana. Galliana with Secure, which is Tapio's boat from Finland. Okay. He's an amazing guy. He's very passionate about what he does. He loves the ocean, and he loves getting young people sailing on board. So he would have to be one of my favorite boats in the Ocean Globe Race.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi,
Hello, what's your name?
Mia.
Hello, Mia. Good to meet you. How old are you?
11.
11. Cool. Okay, what's your question?
How do the boats have room for all the fresh water they need?
Okay, that's a good question, because water is very heavy. Okay, and most of the boats have 2 or 3 or maybe 4 water tanks on board. Okay, and they have to have enough water to go the whole distance, which is about 6 weeks. And if you've got 10 crew and you need to have 2 liters a day for 6 weeks, that's about 800 liters of water, which is 800 kilograms. Okay. So they do carry a lot of water, but most of the boats also have a water maker. It's a desalination system. All right. And it's a machine that takes the salt water and it rams it through a very superfine filter using a lot of energy. And 10% of that water turns into fresh water. So they have a water making machine on board. And if the machine's working, they maybe even get lucky and get maybe a few liters to have a wash, okay? Because they're not living in a normal home with a normal bathroom. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for your question. Okay, next one.
Hello, my name is Victor, and which one of your adventures is your favorite?
Oh, which one of my adventures? Well, it's interesting because adventures can take all sorts of different forms. And I think my favorite adventure was when I sailed an open boat, an open whale boat. It was about 25 meters or 7-8 meters long. It's like a big rowing boat. I sailed that across the Pacific with 3 other people for 4,000 miles. And there was a very famous historic story called Mutiny on the Bounty. It was an English ship where the crew decided to take over the ship, and rather than kill the captain and the officers, they put them in a little boat and cast them adrift, thinking they would all die. But those people in the little boat were able to sail their boat for 4,000 miles from Tonga in the Pacific all the way across to Kupang in what's now known as West Timor. Anyway, so that was a historic recreation. It was a fantastic trip because it was very simple. A small boat with sails and ropes and no technology, and we sailed that, the 4 of us, across the ocean, and only had a very little bit of food and water. So I lost 18 kilograms during that voyage, and you'll find it on YouTube and bits and pieces. So that was probably my favorite adventure. And actually, that was my favorite.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ivan, and
Hi, Evan. How old are you, Evan?
11 years old.
Okay, everyone's about the same. That's cool. Okay, what's your question?
How do you track the boats in the race if they don't have like a communication and you have like the GPS on it?
Yeah, basically we have a satellite tracking device, which is a small, I don't have one here, but it's a small device about the size of a drinking cup, okay, a drinking glass. And it sends a signal via satellite back, up the satellite and down again. And it gives the GPS position every 4 hours, okay? And we can vary the times that the signal is transmitted. So when you're watching the tracker, you'll see a new position every 4 hours. But you may have noticed when we had a medical problem on Triana, we could close that position reporting down to 15 minutes if we wanted to. We can control it from here in the office, and it gives us various pieces of information, so we know where they are all the time. The sailors on the boats can't see that. They don't know where they are, so they still have to navigate with a sextant, but we're watching them all the time, and if they get in distress, they can use their EPIRB to alert us and the rescue coordination centres around the world that they're in trouble and they need help. So that's how we get there. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Yes, great. Thank you very much. Next one.
Hi, Don. My name is Jade.
Hello. Nice to meet you. And how old are you?
10 years old.
10. Okay. What's your question?
My question is, what sparked your interest in sailing?
What sparked my interest in sailing? I think it was because when we went on family holidays, I'm from Australia, of course. I live in Australia, in the South Australia, a city called Adelaide. We have beautiful beaches and very hot summers and fantastic water. I would always be at the beach for 2 weeks every year, as well as weekends, and I fell in love with the ocean. So then I started spearfishing and surfing. I was surfing for about maybe 8 or 9 years, 10 years. And then I was sailing small dinghies off the beach and having some fun. And with the surfing, I saw a movie once where some surfers built a boat and went through the Pacific. And so I decided it was a good idea. And so I moved into slightly bigger keel boats, and that's where it began. I started building my first yacht that I could live on when I was 18. And then since then, I've always been close to the ocean, either on the ocean or in the ocean or under the ocean. You know, I like diving. I was inspired by Jacques Cousteau, who was a very early explorer in the oceans. And so, yeah, I have a real love of the oceans, and that's what got me sailing. So, yeah. Okay. Thank you. So, Marguerite, are you there?
Yeah.
I think we should let the kids have a scream and throw their arms around. I can see they're busting to move. So is everyone having a good time? Yeah. Okay. All right. That's cool. Thanks, Marguerite. We can go to the next question now. Hello.
Hello, my name is Simon.
Hello, Simon. How are you? Hey, Simon, before you ask me my question or the question of me, what's your biggest hobby? What do you do besides school?
I play football.
Football. We'd call that soccer. So you play soccer. And what position do you play in the team? Bit of everything? Yeah, cool. All right. Is it a school team? Is it a school soccer team?
No, it is like
It's an area one. Okay. So what's your question?
what are the biggest dangers when you sail around the world?
The biggest dangers, okay, in relation to the Ocean Globe Race, I think the entrants would say the biggest danger is falling overboard, like falling from the yacht and then being lost at sea. In the first race in 1973, there were 17 yachts started in the event with, quite a lot of crew, and 3 of the crew sadly never returned. They were lost overboard and, were sadly, didn't make it home. So as an organizer and the sailors themselves, they place a lot of attention on making sure they never lose contact with the boat. So you'll see when you're watching the videos, they're often wearing their safety harness and they're clipped on. And there's a lot of safety procedures that are practiced to recover someone if they fall overboard. Okay. So, and the likely times to fall overboard, most people think that would be in a big storm, when there's big waves and the wave comes along and washes you off. That is a risk, but not necessarily the biggest risk. The biggest risk of getting washed overboard is when they're doing some sort of a sailing maneuver to try and go faster and moving sails or things like that. That's just as big a risk. So it's very important that they stay clipped on and stay safe. And each of the crew look after each other and remind them that, hey, you're not clipped on or clip on, especially in when the risk increases. So yeah, that's the biggest danger, being lost overboard. Okay.
Goodbye, Mike.
Thank you. Okay.
Hi, my name is Mia, and I wonder, how do the boats navigate without GPS?
Okay. Hi, Mia. Well, that's pretty simple, but complicated. Without a GPS, you have to use the stars and the sun and a sextant. Okay, and there's a bit of misconception with a sextant. Most people think it's a magic device that you look up at the stars and then you look at it and it'll tell you where you are. That's not the case at all. All a sextant does is measures an angle. It measures an angle from the sun to your eye and then down to the horizon straight in front of you. So it's an instrument that measures an angle. It's simple as that. It's just this angle from the sun to the horizon. And then you go through a process of a series of numbers and pre-calculations to determine a position line. So whenever you take a site, you only get one line and you're somewhere on that line. Okay. And then later in the afternoon, if you did the first one in the morning, in the afternoon, the sun has actually moved. Okay. And if you do another position, take a measurement of the sun in relation to the horizon, and then use another series of calculations, you will get another position line. And all that goes all the way around the world. And when they've both got different angles. When you bring those two position lines together, you will hopefully be somewhere where they cross over. So it takes a bit of learning to understand how to do it, but it can be very accurate. And time is important. You need to have a good watch and check time signals to make sure it's accurate. Okay. So it's using the sun and the stars as a way of, the way it's been done for a few hundred years. Okay. All right. Thanks for your question. Sub 2. What's sub 2? Look up there. I saw that sign. He's pulled it away already. Hi.
My name is Michael.
Hello, Marco. What's your question?
Those is get lonely. Is it scary to sail around the world alone?
Okay. Yes, it is scary to sail around the world alone. I've done it once back before you were born. Back in 1990, I sailed around the world solo in a yacht race called the BOC Challenge. But I'll tell you a story. A friend of mine, her name was Jessica Watson. She was 15 when I first met her, and she sailed solo around the world nonstop when she was a 16-year-old in a little 34-foot yacht. And she was absolutely scared quite a few times. But, fear is a good thing. It heightens all your senses. So when you are facing a big challenge, it makes you pay attention. And being scared also is a factor of being confident. So if you do all your planning and preparation right and minimize the risk, That's the important part before you set off on a big adventure. So if you do that, you feel good. You feel, well, okay, it's still dangerous, but I've done everything I can to make it less dangerous. And so therefore I have a chance of surviving. So I think the risk is acceptable, and you set off on those challenges. But yes, when I sailed around the world on one particular occasion, we were in a big storm and I was very scared, but not much you can do because you're stuck on the boat and you can't get off. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's scary, but in your life, you'll probably be scared on different times as well. And it's an emotion, which is a good thing. It makes you pay attention. Oh, why am I worried? You know? So don't be scared about your exam results though. That's easy. Just study harder, you know? Okay. Thank you for your question. Did I see a GGR sign then?
Hello.
Hello. What's your name?
Buster.
Hello, Buster.
Which one of your adventures was the worst?
Oh, which one of my adventures were the worst? This is turning into me. Which was my worst adventure? I've never been asked that. I've never been asked that question ever before. Very interesting. My worst adventure. Jeepers, I can't think of any. You know, you don't think of having the worst adventure because every adventure is really good. You know, you benefit from each adventure. You learn something. You know, it sends you to another adventure. You know, I honestly can't think of what's my worst adventure. Wow. I might have to take that question on notice, Buster, and get back to you. And I don't think I've had a bad one. You know, there's some that haven't succeeded. You know, I remember I was doing a sledding journey in Antarctica. I spent quite a lot of time in Antarctica, and we didn't achieve the goal. We got involved with some big crevasses and snow bridges and decided not to continue. So we failed. But even though we failed, it wasn't bad because we tried and we learned some things. And so that's not for me, you know, you change your mind. So I honestly can't think of what would be considered the worst, but a very good question. Sorry, I can't answer it with a specific adventure. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Buster.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Crikey's, worst adventure. I'm not sure. Someone's going to have to tell me about sub 2 in a minute. Hello.
Hello, my name is Dennis.
Dennis, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Dennis. What's happening? What's your question?
What inspired you to start Ocean Global Race?
Oh, well, that's interesting. The Ocean Globe race, you know what the race is. I know you're following it, and it's recreating the early Whitbread races. And when I was a sailor back in the 80s, the late 80s and early 90s, I tried to enter the Whitbread race, and I wasn't successful. I tried 2 times myself, and I was offered an opportunity to skipper a Whitbread race campaign, but it wasn't successful. And I enjoy sharing experiences with people. So for the last 30 years, no one's been able to race around the world via Cape Horn if you're an ordinary sailor. And so I enjoy giving people an opportunity to do their own adventures and therefore inspire other people to adventure. I hope that makes sense. So I really saw an opportunity for everyone to get involved with an event like this, and someone needed to do it. And that's why I said I'd give it a go and see if we could make it happen. And now it's happening. So we're excited. And look what's happening. You're now following the Ocean Globe race as an adventure. And that's exactly why I do it, you know, to get people inspired by what you're seeing, you know. So it's great for us to see you all enjoying the OGR. So thanks very much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
What's your favorite subject, by the way, Dennis?
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay.
Gym?
Music.
No.
No, what did you say? Your favorite subject?
Gym.
Oh, gym. Okay. That's cool. They're very good. All right. Thanks for that. We're just about running out of time, by the way, so we might have time for another question. I don't know, Marguerite, are we going through them okay? Everyone's had a chance?
Yes, if you have time for 2 more questions real quick.
Yep, absolutely have time for 2 more questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
What's the yellow sign? That says OGR. Very cool. Okay.
Hi,
Hello. And what's your name?
my name is Mia Helena.
I didn't hear that. Can you say that again?
Mia Helena.
Mia Helena. That sounds like a nice name. Wow. Have you got any brothers or sisters?
I have a brother,
And what's his name?
Håkon.
Forco. No?
Håkon.
Håkon. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Amazing names. Okay. What's your question?
Did you struggle when you sailed to Antarctica?
Oh, did I struggle?
Yeah.
Sailing to Antarctica? No, not really. Each time I've sailed to Antarctica on a yacht, I've had crew with me. Okay, and it's a lot of fun. When you have a small crew, the first time there was 4 of us in total. Even when it got really hard, it was good fun because you're all fighting the conditions and so on. And it was pretty powerful actually, because we're in a 50-foot yacht, and you're completely out of touch with anything. If you got into trouble, no one could rescue you. You know, there's no people around. There's no rescue services down there, and so you're very alone. And what that did was heighten the excitement, because we were seeing things for the first time, all the pack ice and the penguins, you know, the killer whales, the huge icebergs and things like that. It was very exciting because we were so alone, and it was very cool. So yeah, that was a great expedition. And in fact, there's a little video that you could watch on that. It's called Teddy Bears to Antarctica. It's on the YouTube channel. It's about 45 minutes. And we took 200 teddy bears down to Antarctica. You'd probably enjoy that. So, so yeah, thanks for the question. Okay, one more question.
Hi.
Hello, back again.
Yeah, I need to ask you. How do you think Penduik will do when they hit the doldrums?
Oh, well, that's pretty interesting. The question was, how would Penduik do when she hits the doldrums? First of all, she's the first one in, and they're very focused crew. There's some very strong sailors on board. Marie Taberley is renowned, very hard sailor, very experienced. Philippe Peche, the navigator. Philippe Peche is actually a Golden Globe race entrant as well, and he's sailed some serious boats in his history. Okay, very experienced. So they'll drive very hard, and there's a lot of luck involved with the doldrums, and it's impossible to predict what type of conditions they might get, other than stormy and variable, and whether that suits the boat or not. But they'll certainly be putting in a big effort. It's a big boat with a long water line, powerful. So they'll do pretty well. But at the moment, it looks like the doldrums will be quite wide when they get there. Some of the tail-ending boats, the ones further back that won't reach it for a week, the doldrums can change. It could close up, and they may squeak through quicker, or they could take longer. So it's very hard to predict. But certainly it's highly likely that they will be the first through the doldrums, and that'll give them a big jump, because once they get into the southeast trades, they'll settle down, and I think they'll go through the middle. They won't go the trade wind route. They'll go pretty much direct to Cape Town. So there's some fun ahead, and it'll be fun to watch what happens. Okay.
All right.
Thank you for the question.
I got another one too, though.
You got another one? Okay, fire away.
What is a smart tactic to get ahead in the race?
Could you say that again? I missed a little bit.
What is a smart tactic to get ahead in the race?
Oh, I didn't get it. Smoke tactic.
Smart tactic.
Oh, a smart tactic in the race. Yeah, that's what's the smartest tactic in the race? Well, the smartest thing, I think, is to sail the straightest possible line that you can. It's what I mentioned before. If you get, if you're on the rum, what we call the rum line, it's the shortest distance between the start and the finish. If you can stay on that line and just alter your sails all the time and stay there, rather than be lazy and go and keep the boat comfortable and move around, generally that can give you a bit of a boost. So it's something that some sailors forget about. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Fantastic. Well, that was fun. What's the big sign up the back there, Marguerite? What's that saying? Stern.
Out in the back, it says done, actually.
It says which?
It's your name.
My name. Oh, in my name in a different language. Or is it? Yeah. Ah, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Don. That's Don in your language.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, cool. All right. So, well, that was fun. Thank you very much, Marguerite, and the kids. I think so. Let them scream again. Hey, thanks a lot, kids. That was cool. Yeah, go for it. So it's good to catch up. I should just say this was okay. Oh, we haven't gone yet. We're still here. Hang on. Quiet. So I should just mention to everyone that's standing here, this evolved because Marguerite, you sent us a message and asked if we could do just a phone conversation to answer their questions, and we said, "Oh, we'll turn it into a live," and it's been really fun for us. So thank you for that. We love the interaction.
Yeah, we loved it too. A good learning experience.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, let's do it again. Maybe once they're on their way to Cape Horn or something, we should try it when they're in the Southern Ocean. And we've made the offer to other schools now to come back if they want to do something similar. So we'll see what happens. Okay,
yeah,
that's cool. So good. Okay. See you later, everybody. And I'm gonna send you some stuff. So okay. See you later. Bye-bye. Okay. That's it. We'll see you all again later. If I drop that in there, drop this one out here. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. Going crazy. I've got to find one more bit here to kill me. See you later. Thanks a lot.